I'm sitting here reflecting. It's occurring to me that just about 24 years ago, I sat here almost in this exact same spot between these two cedar trees here where I live. This is before I had actually moved to this area and before my life as a performer, before all that has transpired over the last 24 years had happened. I guess I'm falling into a moment of reflection. So much has unfolded. It's definitely an entire cycle of life, for sure. It's definitely been beautiful and challenging and full of lessons. It's just an interesting reflection to look back over life when life has taken a complete turn in a direction that you could have never imagined it would have taken. I was so open at the time and willing to explore and just to allow my life to take the course that it was, that it was calling forward from me. It was not a controlled action. I was not planning it. I was literally going with the flow and tuning deeply into my heart and following my bliss. These were like the core messages of the time, and I had given up almost everything I owned. I had moved into a van and I traveled, and I followed what called me forwards, and I listened to myself, and I did not have any expectations. I did not have any plans. Not any day did I have plans. And that can be a challenging way to live for some people. The point I'm making here, though, is this journey was the journey that set off the entire last, we'll just say 20 years, right? That is the journey, that pilgrimage that I took of giving everything I owned up and moving into my bus and hitting the road and traveling and not having a home base and just being willing to go where I was called, to follow my bliss. And that kind of was the mantra at the time, follow my bliss. And it was with a deep hope to find something that I love doing. I knew that there had to have been more to life than just going to work in a cubicle at a job and making a bunch of money at that. And it called me to walk out away from that. I could have stayed for the money. I could have went and got an apartment and a job at the time. I was fully competent to have done so. I made a conscious choice to walk out on a well-paying job and security, and then I made a second conscious choice to give up that sense of security and to hit the road. It wasn't easy. It came with its challenges, but I feel like all growing does. Like all life lessons, all paths come with their beauty and their struggles, right? It's the bittersweet. It's part of the journey. That's part of growing. I think that's why they call it growing pains. Yet, in allowing myself to fully let go, in allowing myself to let go of expectations, to go where the wind blew, to follow my bliss, to stay committed on that seed intention to follow something that I love doing, I found something that gave my life meaning. I found what suited me well. I created a life beyond my wildest dreams. I could have never imagined the life that I've lived over the last 20 years. It's truly been a blessing that I am entirely grateful for. And at those times back then, I doubted myself. I sometimes felt, what am I doing? Even though I was following my bliss, there was a lot of doubt. There was a lot of insecurity. There was a lot of questioning myself. Because when we don't know what we're doing, we're not controlling it, when there is no plan, when there are no expectations, when we truly allow ourselves to become a blank slate, that can trigger a lot of big emotions, deep feelings, doubt, questioning of ourselves. Yet sometimes it's that emptying out that has to happen in order for the great journey before us to be able to come forward. Because if we're carrying around too much baggage from what was before, we're not necessarily open. Our cup is too full to allow the big beautiful to come flowing in. And I feel like I have been in another one of these phases of my life here. I've been in another one of these places where I'm navigating that blank slate, that unknowing, with that doubt and that questioning and that lack of confidence and that wondering, what am I doing? Where am I going? And it feels, when you're in it, like it's going to last forever. It just feels like it keeps going and going and going. And sometimes there's some headway and it feels like, oh great, yay, I'm on it, I'm doing it. And then, no, again, we're back to, or we're forward to flowing with it, because it happens when it happens. With the previous journey that became my fire dancing career, that became Sacred Fire Dance, that was not controlled. It was a vision, it was a seeding, it was an offering, it was a creative offering that came through me. It came from within me, it moved through me. And I allowed myself to be a medium through which it was able to flow. I became the dance, the dancer, the performer. And those have been me, and I allowed them to come into their full expression. So in round 2, I've been reminding myself when I feel like I'm doubting myself, when I'm unsure of where I'm going, when I'm unsure of how to ground and funnel all of the energy into a solid, constructed vision. I'm reminding myself that the more I let go, the more that I empty out, the more that I create a blank slate, the more that I just allow the energy to move through me, the easier it'll be to see the vision.